Hey guys, Derek with Dependable Success, Motivation, and Inspiration back for another awesome video. And I just want to tell you every video we're excited because I really believe that these are the core tenets to success that some people talk about, not everybody talks about, and we give you the raw version. I mean, really just what are we talking about? Why are we talking about it? And how does it work? This week we're talking about fear. And it's one of my favorite because it applies to life, it applies to business, and it applies to business on the employee side if you're working for somebody else. Because ultimately, we've talked about taking action, we've talked about having the urge to move forward and the motivation to push forward. And one of the things, of course, that holds most people back is fear. And there's a lot of great acronyms for the word, but my favorite is false expectations appearing real. False expectations appearing real. Because if you talk to people like me that have started a business and many of my friends that have businesses, 99% of the stuff that you're afraid of doesn't actually happen. It never comes to fruition. And in fact, it's really just all around negative. And I'm guilty. We're all guilty. I just think it's something we need to acknowledge and work on. And specifically if you're just starting out, you got to push it aside because you'll never move forward. I was just sitting here talking to Randy about a group of guys. They do a great job. I know them professionally, and they do a little bit of work for one guy. They do a little bit of work for another guy, and quite frankly, I think let's use option A and option B. So they do work for A, they do work for B. Quite frankly, I think B is a much better option, but it would require them to put all their eggs in one basket. And what are we taught hammering into our little minds since we're little kids? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I can't tell you how much I disagree with that. How can you do anything significant? You hear about the crypto millionaires, the stock market millionaires, billionaires, because they push past fear and they got something that they understood and they believed in and they went all in on it. Elon Musk is one of the best examples of that, going all in and making something significant. Because if you go with the approach of don't put all your eggs in one basket, you put a little on this, a little here, and let's say you stocks, and this stock went up and it doubled, but you only put in $100. So it's like, okay, great, $200. Not going to change your life. You need to make a play that is big enough. But anyway, these guys, so they have option A, option B. B is a much better option, but they would have to let go of option A to take that opportunity, and instead they recognize it. I've talked with them about it, but they don't take action. And the obvious answer why is fear. And they're right. Well, what if we go with B and it doesn't work out? What if they don't have enough work to give us? And it's ridiculous because ultimately things are just staying the same. And we all know doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is the definition of effing insanity. You can never expect to move forward in your life that way. Real life example for me, a lot of times we're making big plays, we're changing up our marketing, we're changing up our strategy. A lot of these require significant investments, and it's just extremely nerve-wracking because we're putting in a huge portion of our free cash flow into this new endeavor, and it's nerve-wracking. So I spend time talking to people that are my mentors, talking to my family, talking to my professional colleagues, my CPA, and most of it is just like, well, hey, if everything is good, then everything's going to be fine. And I'm like, well, what if it's not good? But at the end of the day, we're basing it off of the last 12 months. So we're not just hoping. It's like, hey, on average, the company does this much a month. Could it go down? Absolutely. But that's where we come in and we have control and we're committed and we're like, no, we're not going to let that happen even if we got to go knock on doors. So it's just a classic example of fear. Thank God for me, at this point, I don't let it hold me back, but I still recognize it for what it is. And it's the number one thing that prevents people from taking action and, most importantly, taking enough action to make a play that is big enough and significant enough to change the lives of themselves and their families. You see this all the time. You know, we all have that one person in our life. They hate their job, or every time they get home from work, oh, it's a long day, but they won't do anything about it because they got bills to pay and they're afraid, oh, what's going to happen? Maybe, you know, it's not, but maybe it's not better, or maybe I'm going to fail. But most people that are successful have failed. I mean, when we started our company and we started picking up big growth, one of the biggest investments of marketing that I did in the beginning, and it was a lot of money for us at the time, failed. So I lost my money. It didn't produce results, but we kept at it, because one thing I can tell you to kind of help you overcome your fear is, if you know 99% of it won't come to fruition when it comes to business, then you know, hey, you got 99% chance that it's going to work out. You know, just look at it the opposite way. Not to mention, I tell people this all the time, you only have to be right in business more than you're wrong, right? You can't win everything. We're not going to win every deal. We're not going to win every customer. Sometimes there's a situation with a customer where there was confusion or nobody's really to blame, and we step up and do the right thing and it costs us money. Fine. You're not going to win every situation, but you just got to win more times than you lose, and you start stacking those little wins. A great guy that I follow he always talks about stacking the little wins, and I think that's so important to overcome fear, because when you bring it all to a head, it's scary. Like, oh, I got to make a decision right now, instead of doing all the little things that we talk about here, like getting your mind right, taking little action, waking up, beating the sun up every day, just little stuff, taking care of your body, making sure you get enough sleep. You know, it sounds like I'm a parent, but it's true. You need to take care of the machine, and you feel good. So when it's time to face these fears, you're walking in with confidence, with your head up high, and it makes it easier to at least take action. And like we said, most of the time when you get to the other side, everything is going to be okay. And I think that's really important. But it's of all the people that surround me in my life that I'm not influencing, I can tell you that it's the number one reason, that people just don't take action, or they let it consume them. And instead of taking action one way or the other, meaning they're going to do it or they're not going to do it, they contemplate. And that's fine. We should all contemplate, decisions, of course, but it's endless, and it's just so much contemplation, and, they spend so much time and energy on all the stuff that couldn't go wrong, when at the end of the day, take all that energy, harness it, and make it influence the outcome that you want. We have a lot more control than we want to believe. Plenty of stuff we have no control over, but you get to influence the outcome. So specifically in business, if you're afraid of making the move, show up, bring your best self, keep motivated, be that person that when you're inside of an organization, they're like, wow, we can't live without that person, or who the hell is that person? Be that one person. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. I really, really hope that you can just, one of the tricks to overcome it is just recognize it. I hope that at the very least, I hope you can overcome your fear, but at the very least, if you recognize it for, it is what it is, recognize it for what it is, realize that 99% of the time, specifically when we're talking about economics, business, finance, it's not going to happen. Stay the course, keep a great mindset, and utilize that energy instead of sitting there contemplating in fear. Utilize that energy to influence the situation and get the best outcome for yourself and your family. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We'll catch everybody next week. We upload a video every single week. If you have something you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments below and we'll see if we can get to it. I hope everybody has a great weekend.